Hey, welcome to Chopping It Up, a show where we have football conversations with most dope individuals. Ooh, a special honor introducing today's guest. She's captain England's women's national team, 2 World Cups, over 120 caps for 3 Lionesses. First ever player to register 100 wins in the WSL. 7 titles at Arsenal before moving on to Manchester City, bringing success, winning the WSL, 3 FA Cups, 3 Conte Cups, received the PFA Merit Award, MBE, and last year was added to the English Football Hall of Fame and the Women's Super League Hall of Fame. Wow, how does she do it? We're going to find out. Shady Gang, give it up for Steph Houghton. How are you?
Thank you. I'm a bit embarrassed by that, actually.
How are you embarrassed by the things that you have done?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just try to stay humble, you know. But yeah, thank you for
that. That must be the defender in you.
Yeah, just got to stay grounded and just think always ahead.
Oh, man, I love it. Yes, thank you for coming on. Truly an honor. We have been covering Manchester City for... This is now our 5th season, 4 years. To have someone like you on, and we really very much appreciate your time and this conversation we're about to have.
Thank you.
Let's start off with something easy, simple, fun. We ask all our guests on for the first time, how did you fall in love with football?
Wow, it's a long time ago now, but yeah, I think for me it was obviously when I was younger, playing in the street with my dad, my friends, and I think ever since I could walk and run around a little bit, it was always a football at my feet. And yeah, I've still got the same love that I had then that I've got now, to be honest. I think that's never ever changed. And yeah, football brings so many different things to your life. It's brought my husband, it's brought loads of friends, but also all them memories that you spoke about before. I think being about that part of that team, and now I've retired, being able to watch a lot of football, I think obviously I miss it, but at the same time, I'm glad I'm on the other side. But yeah, football is just, all the emotions that go through it. And I've never ever changed since I was that 3-4-year-old girl.
Love it. Thom?
So you talked about like being able to watch more matches now that you kind of work more in punditry. Like what's the biggest difference in things that you watch for as a pundit versus things that you were watching for as a player?
I think as a player, you're probably more emotionally invested and also you have a lot more control of what the situation, the outcome could be. So when I used to watch football as a player, especially if I was watching women's game, obviously there's like kind of a bit of a hidden agenda. You're trying to probably watch your opponent. You're trying to watch potentially what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, in terms of like a bit more detail in that sense. Has that gone off there? Sorry. But yeah, I think as a pundit, I think you see different perspectives. You look at both teams a little bit different. And obviously, as a pundit, you're always thinking about what you're going to say and what you're trying to see and what the viewer wants to know. So I think for me, watching football now, I try and do a bit more work mode, in the sense of, okay, like what do people want to hear? What don't they know? What potentially is the common theme in this game, to be able to bring it out to life, and of course try and describe it in a way where it's still exciting, it's still fun, and you're able to get people to keep watching.
Love it. Do you find yourself doing just as much preparation as the punditry work as you did as a player?
Probably more, to be honest. I think obviously preparation as a player is a lot different. I think for the 2 hours you're on the training pitch, that doesn't probably seem like prep, but it is. And then all the recovery stuff, what you're eating. So in terms of probably the hours in general, but different things as a player, it's a lot, because your whole life is dictated to by eating properly, doing things professionally, making sure you're ready for the next session. And obviously, as the competition levels get higher, you've got to be on it, and you can't have any excuses. You can't just think, oh yeah, I'm going to miss this day, because it ends up catching up with you. But for punditry, I do a lot of preparation, if I'm being honest. And even when I'm watching games, I'm not potentially working in that week, I'm always probably looking at things and making sure I've got that in my head if we're to speak about a certain team. And I probably watch football in a bit of a different way. It's not really for like I can relax and enjoy it. It's more of like, okay, like these are the trends, these are the things that maybe if this comes in conversation, I've seen it, I've been across it, and yeah, of course, try and get as much detail as possible. And a year into punditry and obviously doing a lot of Manchester City games, a lot of Premier League games, also WSL. You learn what works for me, but also what works for other people. And I think the key is, which I probably haven't mastered yet, is how much you do give. You don't want to give too much, but you don't want to give not enough, and trying to find that balance. But yeah, a lot of preparation, especially when you come across teams like you don't know as well. So when I did the Euros for BBC, I did Belgium, Italy, which was my first game. And of course, when it comes to England, Spain, which is the final, obviously you know them players, you've played against them. But when it comes against Belgium, Italy, you want to give the viewer something, their star players, how many goals they've scored, how well they've done in the league, what the Serie A is like for the women's team. So you're trying to find out different bits of information. So it's just trying to kind of be a little bit flexible with whatever game you do.
So you talked about playing at the top level. Since you moved from Arsenal to Manchester City in 2014, like what has the growth of the club, particularly on the women's side, what has that looked like? Is it just the investment thing? Is it the talent that's being brought in, not just on the pitch, but like those managing it on the pitch? What has that transition looked like?
Crazy, to be honest. I think it'd probably be quite hard to like really nail one or two things, because I think we have gone at a rate that we've had to go at because everybody's so invested in the sport now, which is amazing. And that's because of the success of the Lionesses, the interest in the league. I think you speak about players, and I think the best players are in our league at this moment in time, bearing maybe a few that play in the Spanish league and the French league. So that kind of attraction is there. You want the best players to be competing. And I think in turn, that creates more competition, that creates more entertainment for fans. It means that a lot more sponsors and businesses want to get invested into our game because they see that as an avenue to make money. And that's how it works. Football is like that now. But I think for me, the biggest difference was probably the professionalism. I think being able to turn from semi-professional to professional to train at facilities in Man City, that was a massive pull for me, was being able to know that everything was on site to make me the best footballer I could be. And we definitely did lead the way in that sense, in terms of we set the bar. And then especially in them first 3 years of me being at City, everybody wanted to play the football that we did, have the facilities that we did, have our own stadium. And even the way that we were talking from like a cultural point of view and like a team ethos and a club ethos, everybody was like, okay, what are Man City doing? Because they're being successful on and off the pitch. They're creating interest, people coming to games. So yeah, the game has just massively changed. And even from that 2014 to probably 2018, 19, the last 5 years have been even more crazy. And you see all these high profile players that are as big as our male counterparts, especially in England. I think you probably think of Chloe Kelly as a household name now, with like the same as what Wayne Rooney used to be. So yeah, I think it's changing, but for all the right reasons, which is the main thing.
You talked about all of the talent that has gone through Manchester City and the talent that's there. Without the UWCL competition being on the table this season, like how do you expect the club to maintain that talent? I think one of the biggest things that we've talked about on the show this season is like, oh my gosh, Bunny Straw's contract hasn't been extended yet, and it's over at the end of the season. So what seems to be the draw to keep the players at the club?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I learned of being the club is that when we promise things as players, the club deliver. And the promise is to be challenging for trophies this season. The promise is to get back into the Champions League. It's to invest in the team on and off the pitch. And I think for me, that's the draw, but also the way that we play our football. And yeah, we have a new manager, and this seems a little bit of a fresh start for everybody. Of course, over the last 10 years, there's been 2 managers of the